1. I believe we're recorded. You know, it's right here. You know, your
Right,
Bustin
let's start.
Blotch. um,
Is I.
it is I. So I've come here to ask mostly Four Souls questions, but there's some Isaac questions. This is mostly a discussion. So like you know, you're working on one of the biggest Four Souls mod, Lost Cards Encore, which is
Hmm.
pretty groovy. um,
Definitely.
Do you want to talk about yourself? You know, like I know you're part of the Isaac community for since Flash, if I believe, but I could be wrong. But uh,
So I've been playing Isaac since middle school. Um,
whoa.
I think I got involved with the community after Birth Club. I started like with just like respriting or reskinning mobs, and I joined Genesis Plus, and that's how I got into the modding.
Mhm.
So that led to other projects, and some of which never were released. But eventually I got to work with Revelations, and I think my biggest contribution was with this movie called Community Remix
Mm.
Games, and basically ported an old, the best mod. It's definitely nostalgic. It's a Community Remix mod for Flash to Rebirth, or I mean
Mhm.
after us, and we just by bringing Adam in and then working on standalone mods for his items within the mod, and then we just kind of merged everything together and added a bunch of extra content too. So like I designed all of the unlockable items, and I did some of the early sprites, but I wouldn't say that my sprites are my strong point. I did like a couple sprites that got the final project, like the stray enemy in Cathedral, and the early sprite sheet for the cast.
Groovy.
Hmm.
I'm not sure I should be the bearer of bad news, but it seems that we got some auditorial glitchiness going on right here.
It might be my internet connection. I was just
Oof.
trying to stream like or watch something earlier, and it wasn't really working.
Yikes. We get those days. It sounds good enough here. It sounds good enough.
Yeah,
It's good
I'm on
enough.
my phone right now because my computer mic hasn't been working.
Oof. I've had those days. Wait, actually, I don't think I have that. No, no, one time I had that one day.
I'm getting a
um,
new mic in like by May.
by May. I know I ordered like this microphone that was being sold for like $7. There was a weird coupon going on. I was like, well, it's $7, and I got it.
Seven dollars.
I don't know where it is. For some reason it's being shipped off by a Chinese manufacturer. I'm like, oh, it's probably never gonna come out. But,
Thing. I went for I invested in something a bit nicer, but
mm.
I honestly forgot the name. I was just like, what's a good mic for a computer? Just went with whatever. I used Amazon for it.
I'm not sure what a microphone is, but I think it was like $30 only. The starter mic. The starter mic.
Yeah, but
Um.
I like getting involved with the community of this game. It's just now that I have a full-time job and I don't live with my parents anymore, it's a bit tougher to commit a lot of time to it. And then
Mm-hmm.
recently with Repentance coming out, that's been a lot of fun to play, but not the most productive thing to do.
That's interesting. So wait, how did you discover Isaac? Just curious. You said in middle school.
I feel like I saw it on Steam one day, and it was before Wrath of the Lamb. Actually, it might have been after Wrath of the Lamb, but before Eternal Edition and before Rebirth was announced.
Hmm.
Um, I asked my older brother, who had a job at the time, and I was just like a little kid, and I asked him to get me it. And it was such a cheap game, so he got me it. And that's how we got into it. And I mean, he ended up picking it up too, and he liked it.
That's a
And
nice humble origin.
I only got like 100 hours into classic Isaac, but when Rebirth came out, it got over 1,000.
Over 1,000.
Yeah.
I know I mostly play on my Switch now, which is like 600 hours. So like, you still dwarf me. You still dwarf. You know, you managed to, you know, it's a pretty fun game.
Yeah,
I could
mean,
see it.
Isaac's like such a good game to expand. It's simple enough that it's pretty easy to grasp the mechanics of it, and the art style is not too hard to sprite. But like animation is still very difficult, and I don't really know that much about the modding API. I just always liked coming up with ideas and then helping pull them together. Oh, not to mention, I like to make rooms for the enemies I added.
Rooms. That reminds me, you made a little small mod for the Lost Mod, is that what it's called? Recently.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so we just took some of like the original content from LCE that, I mean, the DLC, the expansion's not even out yet, but we just took some cards and made them into things in Isaac, and that was a really fun short project to do.
It spiced up my modded runs, you know, just getting Pearl of Wisdom, and yeah, those are pretty good.
I think I like Hammond Berries a lot more if it were in Repentance, because there's not that many things going for the Soul Heart runs anymore.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be a good item for Soul Heart builds. I think Pearl of Wisdom is pretty useful. Void Die is just like,
I don't know how that still works to this to this day. I don't know how it works.
Basically, it sucks up your active items and gives you stat ups while the item holds them. And then when you pop it again in a room without collectibles, you spawn the items rerolled. So it's like combining the D6 and the Void, so you get rerolls plus stats.
Oh my goodness, it's like a big brain moment right there.
It's kind of overpowered because you can take boss pool items and turn them into Devil Deal items.
I guess I'll pick it up once they added modding back into Repentance. So this is the big Isaac question. You know, this may determine how I'm gonna judge you from now on. What's your favorite OST? Flash Isaac OST, the Rebirth, Antibirth, Repentance, modded, etc., etc.
It's gotta be the Flash soundtrack. But I do like Antibirth and some of the new tracks in Repentance. But overall, Flash.
He's a Flash guy.
Best to me.
It's pretty groovy. It's pretty funky. I dig it.
Like, yeah. They have like freaking cellos and violins in there, like in the Depths theme.
Yeah.
Depths is actually like a rememberable theme, but in Rebirth it's just like a bunch of beats.
Yeah. So, what's your favorite boss from the Isaac series that you fought?
That's tough.
That's tough.
I kind of like Hornfell because you can kind of see where he's going, and I like that. Oh, depending on how you deal with him, you could potentially get more items from him, even if he's kind of. He feels a lot easier than he was in Antibirth, but I just love that the track, how he has this really special room, and all the tracks are drawn so you can kind of see where he's running. It's pretty cool.
For me, I have to go with Wormwood. I don't know, just something about the design and like the way he could go under the water. Like you could see him, you know, his tail go in and then like pops out. And then he had a cool Dross variant, which is pretty groovy with all the extra eyes and stuff.
Oh yeah, Wormwood is just like excellent. He's like a perfect design. He's difficult, and well, he's not that difficult once you get to learn him, but he's still intimidating, and he's like, he telegraphs perfectly well. And
I know in Antibirth I never discovered this, but maybe they added in Repentance, or maybe the feature was always there, but I found out you could bomb him when he's trying to catch up to you.
Chase you?
Yeah, when he chases you.
I don't know if I ever remembered that being a thing, but yeah, that is. I saw it once when playing. It's really cool.
So
And it
what?
totally makes sense.
It does make sense. It's like Chub. Chub just like smoke.
Mhm.
Chub. So what other video games do you play besides Isaac on your free time?
Well, I really haven't been playing anything else recently, but I've played a lot of other games before. Like I like Castle Crashers. The
Mm.
Behemoth games are pretty cool in general, like Battle Block Theater. I tend to lean towards indie games more, but
Yeah.
I have played some more. I played AAA games too. I've played. Oh, I love Spelunky 2 before Repentance came out.
Splunky 2.
That was my go-to. And then Terraria, that's one I really like because it's like a creative outlet, but it's just like something you could really sink a lot of time into. It's just so enjoyable.
Terraria does the grind, but like in a good way.
Hmm.
Do
And
you play
I really
other?
like Shovel
Oh,
Knight.
yeah, continue Shovel Knight. Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, you can go on.
Oh, no, sorry, you were saying games, and I just interrupted by the next question. Is that all the games you currently play right now?
Yeah, it's just Isaac, really.
Isaac.
And Four Souls.
Four Souls. Well, one more question before we go to the Four Souls portion. Do you play any other tabletop games like Match the Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons, poker, or chess? Chess.
So I've played. I do like chess, but I haven't played that much lately. I've played Dungeons and Dragons when quarantine was in. Me and my brothers. My older brother, he knows a lot about it, and he was like a dungeon master for us. And yeah, we had a good campaign, but I really didn't get down with the role playing that hard, so it felt a little awkward for me. And
No.
it took a lot of time when there was just all kinds of things to do. And then play Uno.
Uno.
I played Tapeworm.
Tapeworm.
But yeah, that's about it.
That's about
Other
it.
than Four Souls.
Oh my, I'm like this weird addict when it comes to collecting board games and card games. So like, you could imagine when I was told that one of my favorite video games was gonna have a card adaptation, I was like, yo. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
pretty.
I mean, Four Souls really. I got really attracted to Four Souls when it was announced on Kickstarter, and I'm not like a big card game player before this, so it took me by surprise. But when I liked how it translated the ideas and mechanics of the game
Mm-hmm.
pretty well, and it had a lot of replayability to it, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I just liked it a lot even before I understood it that much. After you really learn it a lot, I feel like you can see a lot of things that are wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's good for what it is. It shouldn't be seen as like this perfectly strategic game, because a lot of it is luck and just like
Yep.
social chaos and stuff like that.
The ultimate luck social game.
Hmm.
So,
I got my cat here.
your cat.
I got like a little Siamese cat.
Ooh, nice. Cats. I got four fish in an aquarium. That's about it when it comes to pets.
That's awesome. My cat
Um,
would love your fish. Trust me.
definitely. Oh no. Three of them will be bite-sized and one of them will be very bony. So, yeah, probably.
Wow.
So, you just introduced the Four Souls. Like, were you discovered about this like day one of the Kickstarter, or was it like several days? Like, oh, there's a Four Souls Kickstarter, or how was it?
I saw it pretty early on. I backed it as soon as I could, and I just went for the gold box.
Gold box.
Yeah, I was just working part-time at the time. I didn't feel like spending much on it, but I'm not crazy about the collectibles, but I'm glad I got the gold box so that I got the full experience.
Full experience with an asterisk, because like now there's like promos you gotta seek around, and oh gosh, the complete version of Four Souls is like almost unobtainable.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame that they don't really put that much effort into the design of the promos.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I really liked that card that really fucks up the game. What do you call it? It's that
Corrupted data?
yeah, corrupted data. That's a really cool promo.
Yes.
But the bloat promos and the Gish promo, at least they
Oh, the
kind of had
Gish.
unique effects, but still, I just don't think they did it justice with the balance on those promos.
Oh gosh! Later in the interview, I got a Gish question. Oh no.
Okay.
It's very infamous. Let's just say the Gish. There's a particular individual that does not like Gish at all. So when did you decided that you wanted to become a Four Souls modder? That's a good question right there.
So I remember seeing like this Twitter art that Origami or Ori's Ghost made.
Oh yeah.
And it was this Adam and Endor cards, and this was like even before the game came out, so the effects weren't really there. And I just asked them, hey, could I come up with an effect for these cards? And they were like, sure, and they sent me the files. And that's kind of how I got fucked
That's
up
how it started.
card resolutions now. So like if you look at my files compared to any other Four Souls mod, my cards have like higher resolution. And that's just because I copied the resolution of Ori's cards when I moved on from there. And then I was like, damn, this is cool. And I got involved with Ezem when I was working on Adam and Endor. And they weren't that great. I mean, Adam changed so many times. But Endor's pretty much stayed the same the whole time. But in Encore, she's like really solid, I'd say. One of my favorite characters.
Nice. So, when did Ezem and like Seven Nut join the Lost Cards team? Like, when was that? Like, was it early in development, or was it like sometime mid, or just?
Yeah. So, Lost Cards. I started by making Adam and Endor, and then I made the bonus souls.
Oh, the bonus souls.
And then Ezem's been giving me feedback on my designs since the beginning, basically. So I've been discussing everything with Ezem. So you could say Ezem was there from the start.
From the start.
Yeah, I got a lot of ideas, but Ezem had a better grasp of the balance because he's been doing it longer, and he's a genius, I tell you.
He is. Four Souls Rebalanced, was it called? Or like he redid all the cards basically.
Yeah, he had Unknown Depths at that time.
Unknown Depths.
Four Vessels was in the works while we were talking about that, but he has some really solid expansions.
Now it's Ark. It's Ark. it's
yeah,
everything.
I mean, Ark is like godly. It can completely replace the game, and it's really replayable because it adds so much shit. You might never see the same card twice, like in the monster deck or treasure deck. But I mean, after like 5 games, you'll probably see most of the cards. But still, it's just an insanely huge expansion.
I know at first, my early Four Souls life career, my Bob is like, oh, I don't like crossover cards. And then with Ezem's mods, I was like slowly, accepting them, and like, it's I could now officially say that I actually do like having the whole night stuff, interactive DVD, and a mod of Terraria Calamity and whatnot. It's pretty good.
I don't know. I'm not the hugest fan of it. The whole
everything is
like
there.
Bringing different games into Four Souls, it's kind of weird.
I mostly play Four Souls for Isaac, yeah.
He's very creative. Like, it does make sense how it could work, because you take a bunch of different ideas from other games and you just adapt them into Four Souls mechanics, but you still take a bunch of creative liberties. And it just totally works. It gave him a bunch of source material and assets to use for his expansions.
So, oh gosh, I just realized that all my questions for Four Souls are all scrambled, so apologies if they all seem out of place. But, okay, this one was thoughts on the Four Souls original soundtrack.
You mean like that one song where it's like
There's that's the theme song, but there's still another track as well.
I mean, I guess it's cool. When I played physical, I used to play the different Isaac soundtracks while playing the game as some mood setting.
Mood setting.
But I guess the songs are cool.
I guess they're cool. I mean, they're not that well known. That's why I always have this question whenever someone talks about Four Souls. Like, oh, do you know about the original soundtrack? And most of the time they're like, what? As a response.
Yeah, they didn't send me a DVD.
So would you call Lost Cards Encore like the community remix mod of Four Souls?
I wouldn't say that because it does include a lot of art from different people in the community, but the designs are just us three.
Yeah.
And I feel like if we did a community remix, unfortunately, the quality would suffer.
I could see that. I could picture that.
But I mean, getting a bunch of artists together it's fine, because Four Souls had like this inconsistent art style. So you just get a bunch of different cool styles and just throw them together, and it also gives like artists a good showcase.
I like how Four Souls already had like different art styles, so to reflect on the cutesy aspect, the epic, the gross and grotesque part of Isaac, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it totally works, because you got stuff like Baby Plum, and then you got stuff like Raka.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Raka, this is a very important question. Thoughts about the new change?
He looks like one of those blobfish things in the
like,
deep part of the ocean when they come out of the water.
Yeah. I'm fine with the third phase, honestly, but the part that bothers me is just the first phase. Like, I like how it was just like this giant worm inside a corpse, but now it's like this decaying man with broken teeth, and then like, it's just there.
His face is like such a blur. I've never really paid that much attention to it, but I definitely think it looks less intimidating.
Less intimidating?
Oh, it's pretty gross.
I know there's like probably gonna be like the rot gut restoration mod or something like that. A lot of people are.
Be an easy fix. Because it could be seen as like a posthumous like wormwood or something.
I think someone says like a posthumous Mr. Fred or something like that, which I could kind of see it.
He does look pretty cool. I'd say it's just I feel like it's a downgrade.
Yeah, like he looks. It's a cool design, but like compared to what the original source material was, it's kind of a downgrade. So
yeah, honestly. Doesn't make as much sense.
So I gotta say thank you for including Soccer Malith, but my question is, when you're making it, why did you decide to go for the soccer version?
It was way more unique than the Ruthless version.
Yeah.
We just kind of preferred it, and the reason why, it's because in Akio's follow-up mod,
yeah, they're gonna have.
He's gonna have Mahalath's normal version.
That's what I was thinking about. Like, that's probably the reason why you went with the soccer version.
Yeah, we're just kind of anticipating that, because Alt and LCE could be played together. I don't know if he's teased it yet, but we have like a collab expansion in the works.
A collab expansion?
Yeah, it's called Lost Experience. Well, that name may be subject to change, but it basically takes like stuff from Alt and LCE, like mechanics, and just throws them in together. Like
more not champions, companions and whatnot, stuff like that.
Yeah, so like new keyworded things will show up more in that one, and also you get to see a lot of like Akio drawing stuff from other mods than Anti-Birth and Revelations. It's pretty cool to see.
Oh, that's groovy.
I really like the content in that mod, so that thing is probably gonna be out very soon after LCE's done.
Oh my goodness, so many cards. So many cards. Um, so I really love the new watermark that was given to LCE, but my question was for Lost Cards, it was just Sprites of the Forgotten. Like, what was the reason to choose that? Just curious.
Yeah, so previously it was just like a little sprite of the Lost,
Hmm.
and that's just like the Lost cards.
Oh,
There's, like, a
okay, that
little
makes
theme to it.
sense.
And then in the second the second volume or encore, we were just putting the soul instead of the Lost to like
Hmm.
kind of signify they're from the same pack, but it's different.
It's different.
And then I was like, kind of lame. And I think someone commented on the Steam page, and that's kind of where we made the
Oh,
decision to change the logo.
I think
And
that
it
somebody
was
might have
drawn by
been me.
Hanbury.
Huh. Ooh, speaking of Hanbury, so like, when did you get in touch with them to help make art for Lost Cards Encore?
We got in touch on the Twitter DMs back
Hmm.
before Lost Cards came out, so they did like 10 monster cards for the original,
Hmm.
and then we were like, oh, so good. I wanted to have like a higher quality art in general for Encore. So for a long time, Hanbury was the only monster artist, and they did a ton of stuff. I mean, I'm a Fiend Folio tester, so
Yeah.
I was working with them on making Fiend Folio cards. So Hanbury did a lot of the art for like your Fiend Folio monsters and bosses, but also some of the Fiend Folio developers were making cards, and then I was like, hey, do you guys want to work with us? So we got some like design contributions from Fiend Folio developers and artists like John the Real John and whatnot. Peas and what. They're
Mm.
really good artists.
And like, Hanbury's not an official artist now, so like, they're gonna fit in much easier, even better than before.
Yeah, we got a butt ton of official art.
It's now official art, yeah.
And it's cool that I doubt Hanbury would have ended up in their position if they hadn't worked with us. So it's cool that they were able to get that job by working with us.
Yeah, it's a win-win right there.
Yeah.
So, what are your okay? This might be the most. I mean, I could think of the controversial questions, but this is like, I guess, the most I'm gonna go by. So, what are your thoughts about Ed not being able to treat Four Souls mods like video game mods? Like, for example, like he retweets Revelation stuff, but like when it comes to LCE, he couldn't retweet nothing about it.
It definitely sucks, but it's just the way it is. At least he's not shutting us down like Nintendo.
That's
But
true.
it would definitely help make people more aware that this scene even exists, because it's pretty niche.
It's like a niche game with a niche card game that has a niche tabletop simulator fan base with a niche modded expansion for it. uh,
Yeah, it's just it would definitely help with awareness. I'm not sure what else to do to like promote it more, but it's coming in close. I don't want to get people's hopes up too much,
yeah.
because I don't want to like I used to like quote when the mod would be ready, but we kept adding more stuff, and it just
it's
ended up being a lot more work.
it's kind of like Repentance. It kept adding more and more and more.
I think it's better that we ended up developing it more, because you can pretty much just take the vanilla loot deck and use LCE as your base game now. That's how big it is. We even accounted for Soul of Guppy and created a bunch of new Soul of Guppy. I mean, Guppy items from different mods.
Mm. So, what do you think about one of the best Four Souls mods at Rapture that is slowly going to become official? Thoughts about it? It was announced about a week ago.
Ad Rapture is beautiful. Like, the best mod to ever exist.
So great. It
And
feels
I'm glad
so
that it's
official.
official now.
Oh
I can't
gosh.
wait to play the Guardian.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh gosh! Oh no! In case people weren't aware about the context, it's don't play it, man. Just don't.
It would take a lot of effort to make it right, but yeah, I mean somebody's gonna do it probably, and once they do, it might be good to use.
Did you know, like even though Four Souls like has this weird cult following in the Russia community, and like they have like this bootleg version of Ad Rapture, but it's like the outdated version, so it's like day one Ad Rapture.
Oh, that's just awful. I feel bad for the Russians.
Me too. Oh man.
I feel like they pirated Lost cards too. I saw.
I wouldn't
like,
be
a page
surprised.
where they're selling cards.
It's like if it looks somewhat like, if it's Isaac themed, there's a good chance they're gonna like pirate it.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to do copies of Lost Cards Encore on Etsy, but Ed wouldn't approve it, and that's okay. It's his intellectual property.
Yeah,
But still, it kind of sucks.
it does. At least he's not seeking his way to make sure the mod never comes out and it's like snuffed out like Nintendo, like you said earlier.
Mm-hmm. And just like being able to play, if you own a copy of Tabletop Simulator, you own a bunch of copies of other games, and it's like those are just able to exist, so that kind of allowed us to make this. If there wasn't a way to play Four Souls online, this would have never existed. And
That
it would
is
never
true.
work, because unless like you have like a good amount of roommates that are obsessed with the game and just like nerds about the game, then you could do it, like have physical test games. But Tabletop Simulator lets us do so many test matches and do so many good looking builds.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good. Like we've tested this so much that it feels really solid at this point.
Mm.
So we're not really concerned with like how the game will be received after it's released. Like we will be looking out for feedback and whatever people report, but we're pretty confident on our decisions.
Mm. That's good to hear. That's pretty exciting to hear about. So, what are your hopes about Requiem? You know, the upcoming expansion.
Well, I'm glad that it's getting reworded, and hopefully certain characters get a bit better and certain characters get a bit worse. But I doubt that it's gonna solve all the balance problems with the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like Ed kind of hyped it up, but then he kind of made it seem like he's not going to do that much. But I'm sure it's going to be worded a ton better because they got Seven working
yeah.
on the wording and the rules of the game. So it's going to be more understandable for new players, and having a more solid base is good for mods because now we have just a stronger base game to build off of.
Mm-hmm. So, were you the one that on Twitter you were suggesting the idea of Four Souls reshuffled?
Oh yes.
That would have been a good name. I would have loved it.
We shuffled it.
Oh man, from the creators of the Binding of Isaac Four Souls, we bring you Binding of Isaac Four Souls reshuffled. That would have been good.
Right.
So, what are your thoughts about Requiem having more cards that are forcing players to play the role of the bad guy or forcing team-ups and whatnot?
I think it's okay. As long as it's... I don't know, it really depends on the cards, but I think it sounds good. Like, cards that make players interact in fair ways is good by me. Like, I really like cards that force you to, like, not like Guppy's head in particular, but like I got a couple monster cards. Like there's this, what's this guy's name? It's like, it's either called the Wretch or something else, but it's a monster card that at the start of each turn or when it's put on a slot, it makes the active player roll, and then depending on the result, each player either gives a loot card or 3 cents to each other or one other player, and I like how it lets you interact with other players, because then it kind of balances the stakes out, because you're probably going to help out the player with less luck than the player with more luck. And it could be political, because you might want to give the player that you like more resources than the player that countered your play or something.
I'm a big fan of
political in that.
Yeah.
I think that's where Four Souls' strengths are.
The political aspects, you know, who has the control of power, you know, are you willing to help out someone or cause an alliance or enemies, bridges to break or build? It's my favorite part of Four Souls. I like that.
Yeah, more player interaction is just good to me, so I like the ideas of that.
Okay, so this is going to be the controversial question, according to Ezem, most likely. The Gish card. Do you think it's okay? Do you think it's bad? Do you think it's good? Question mark. You know, I saw it personally, it was just okay, but I was just kind of shocked to see the Four Souls community like take it apart and rip it to pieces. Oh man.
Let's see. So is the current version of Gish the 631? Each player must attack this during their turn, and when this dies, choose a player. That player skips their next turn.
Yes.
What I would do is make it so that I don't like it that you're forced to attack it. I would probably make it so... Yeah, that's like not the easiest stat line in the world. I'd say like if you attack, you must attack this, if you really have to have that effect there. I just think this card isn't balanced. It's a little too... It fucks someone else over really hard. It's a little too rewarding, and it also could be possibly too punishing. And there's like less strategy because you have to attack it. There's no choice.
So I guess you're not a fan of Krampus?
If you're gonna have the effect where you skip the next player's turn, make the reward like 0 cents or 1 cent at least. Because that effect steals a player's turn that could be worth a soul, a treasure, a loot card.
Or 1 coin. 1 coin.
Yeah, I'd make the reward really shitty if I was Edmund.
So, do you have like a favorite particular promo card that you enjoyed the most? Which, I guess it's corrupted data from earlier.
Yeah, it'd be corrupted data. I also like the Eden cards, because I want to do a physical all Eden game one day.
Same. I really like. I would like if like somewhere like I was about to say Studio 71, but now it's like Maestro Media or something like that. They branded their name, but it'd have been really cool if they sold in the store like the Eden pack that just includes 4 unique Edens, just so you could play 4 Eden games.
Yeah, that'd be sick. I'd really like that. I wish they sold nickels and dimes, or like little heart tokens or damage tokens.
Oh, I remember earlier before I got Four Souls, I was like prepping for stuff, and I remember my Dollar Tree, not Dollar Tree, Dollar Store. Or maybe it was it was a dollar store of some kind. And when I went there, it was Valentine's Day, so it was February, and like they were selling like at the time, like this was like, wait, no, that doesn't fit with the timeline. Wait, I don't remember when I got these tokens now. But literally, they're like little red transparent hearts, and like they fit on the playmat's heart counter thingy, so like it literally feels perfect to play with them, and it's nice.
Yeah, that's a good find. I'm sure it wouldn't be that expensive to like mass produce those.
I think it was like maybe like 20 of them for like $1. That's how much it was in the bag. And
geez, they should just go find them and buy them.
They should. There was something I was gonna.
That, they bring more like maybe add a D4 to the next version, and that would be kind of interesting. If you have to roll a D4 sometimes for certain things, we have that in LCE.
Oh man, I gotta bring out my D4s now out of my dice chest. Oh no. So, do you collect promo cards, or do you just like only got some, or just gave up on the idea of hunting them down? Just wondering.
Yeah, I'm not like a promo hunter. I have a hollow angel deal, and
Hmm.
I have green bloat. I also have the tapeworm promos, but I actually use some of them in game.
Hmm. I love
But
Rainbow
I don't use
Tapeworm.
the Dick Knots one because it really sucks.
The monster that does nothing.
I kind of like the tapeworm monster card
Yeah.
because it just like inserts itself back in the deck and it's actually rewarding as a
Mhm.
non-boss card. I like that because I feel like the difference between bosses and monsters at that difficulty should just be more rewards versus a soul.
Hmm. What are your
So
thoughts
it actually makes
about
it worth your turn.
yeah? So, what are your thoughts
As
about deck building? That's to be heavily advertised for Requiem.
I think it's a good idea because then you can play it the way you want to play it. I mean, you can do it right now. It's just not that many
Yeah.
people have thought of it yet. And it's good that he's saying that because it's kind of opening people's eyes to the idea a bit more. I think they'll feel more comfortable doing it now that they know that it's the intention of the creator. Some people
Mhm.
want to do it. Oh, this is the way the game designer can do
I've
it,
been
so I'm not going
suffering
to do it.
through
But
the admin experience. Every
yeah,
single card.
I copied Four Souls Light on my physical edition, and I just kind of put the cards that are bad in the, what do you call it, the Four Souls Plus box, and it all fit in there. And then I just have Four Souls Light physical, and it plays a bit
Physical.
better, but it's still not as fun as modded.
Hmm. I gotta try that someday. I gotta take out some cards. Play Four Souls Light physical. Um, the only modded cards I
Yeah,
got physical is like alt, which is like an outdated version of alt, but it's still pretty good alt. Just to spice up my games. It's pretty nice.
on LCE we balanced it around the light version or the more
Hmm.
balanced version, but
More
we've
balance.
rarely done test games with the admin experience. Um,
I mean, it should
and it still
play
works.
the
Like we've done a
same.
couple of.
I would think.
You'll just find that LC has like higher quality loot cards and
Mm-hmm.
better items and fairer monsters, so the
Mm-hmm.
games go by faster.
So, were there any challenges met when developing Lost Cards Encore?
Well, I used to have really friendly internet, so it's been a pain making a bunch of builds,
Yeah.
and now that we've expanded so much, it's a lot harder to make like big changes to like say things like the backgrounds. Like
Mm.
we just had this guy named this guy created a
Oh
bunch
yeah.
of slightly better templates for us
This
to use
guy.
for
Yeah.
LCE, and I've been going through like downloading the entire decks and just like editing each card, and it requires me to replace the background, change
Mm.
the text formatting to be aligned with the new text boxes,
Mm-hmm.
and also I've been doing like a few wording changes while I'm at it, but still it takes so much time now that we have so many cards,
Oh
and not
man.
to mention like it's been it's been difficult to get all the art for it. It's taken a long time, but we're like down to 4 cards left. We need 4 more art, and then I just gotta finish the rulebook and applying these background changes,
Yeah.
and then it should be done because we've tested it a bunch. We might do we play it whenever we could, but we haven't tested it in a while. I've just been editing lately.
Yeah. So, what got you the idea to like have official artists, commission some of the LCE cards?
I don't know. I just wanted it to look really good, and surprisingly, players want to play with cards that fit in the game more.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not trying to make this really popular. It's just I like the good-looking art personally, and I kind of regret it because it was expensive.
Yeah.
But I haven't done it in like forever, thanks to the community rising up and contributing so much for free.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was expensive, and I'd say it added a really nice flair to the expansion that you really wouldn't see in most other fan-made expansions, other than like something with like alt.
Like
alt is amazing, or add Rapture. But I think add Rapture's art style isn't the best, but still, it doesn't look very bad.
So I'm not sure if you're allowed to even say this, but like, do you know like an estimate budget that went into Four Souls and Lost Cards Encore? You know, like in total, like how much was spent on just the art alone?
Man, it's got to be around 800 to 1,000.
Oh my goodness, that's actually pretty shocking. Oh no, everybody give this man some money. Donations, please.
Yeah, I mean, we tried to do like a little donation page, but I mean, it's no surprise that it wasn't very successful.
I tried to donate $1, but a little bit. You didn't accept my $1.
I mean, I think I tried to, but I didn't have my account set up correctly. I'll probably look at it again, but I forgot why I didn't accept it.
Like, oh my goodness, recently like I was given some money through PayPal, and like, okay, I was about to take it, but like, oh, your bank account, my Bob, and I literally spent 2 weeks going back and forth just to get my thing to accept my bank, and it finally did. I was like, whew. It was a tough moment. Yeah. Not much to say.
Yeah, but I'm doing pretty well since back then, and the reason why I was comfortable enough to kind of invest in this, or this hobby, was that I was being supported by living with my father and whatnot. I had a pretty good job, and I thought, hey, I have so much time in my life, why not? You know, I'll make this back in no time.
You make this back in no time?
I ended up moving out sooner than I thought, and I've made it back. I mean, I have more money than I've ever had before, because just saving and whatnot, just working full-time instead of part-time and getting a promotion. But it's still, that money could have been useful for like saving towards a car or something.
Yeah. So, do you have any like? Continue.
Cool.
You want me to go next question, or do you want to continue where you left off?
You can go to the next question.
Okay, so like, I guess you kind of teased this a bit, but what are your future plans after LCE? I know in the Four Souls Discord, you like teased this mod that had to deal with the item shop. It was like this purple cursed bomb card.
Oh yeah, so like during the pandemic, I was working on my own kind of mods that would remix Four Souls to rules and new mechanics. So there were just like different ways to make the game a bit more interesting. So I might pick that up after I'm done with this. But we're probably gonna do one more update after Requiem, but it's gonna be pretty small. It's just focusing on porting LCE over to Requiem in case they change the mechanics significantly. And then
a small update.
Yeah, so that mod that you were talking about is the loot shop.
Loot shop.
So I'll probably finish that sometime. And I have other things like price. There's like a shop where all the items have different prices based off their card balance. So shitty items are inexpensive, while great items are a bit more expensive.
I like
and then,
that.
Like, top checking costs a flat amount, but it's like a bit more than before.
So, did you expect Lost Cards to get so big? I was like, I remember it was gonna be, yeah.
After I finished Lost Cards, it was like, I totally want to do more. This is fun. But then I was thinking, I don't want to make it too big. I was like, let's make a volume 2. And it'll be just as big.
Famous last
and then
words.
I never thought I would actually do it, but we basically did the bigger vision. And I didn't have it all planned out from the beginning, but I probably planned out like at least 50 cards.
At least 50.
But then we just kind of added the rest over time.
It's impressive. It's like I really like how the mod incorporates many Isaac mods that aren't like the major ones, as well as some community references like Fartworm, which I gotta say thank you so much for adding Fartworm to Four Souls. It's like
I love Fartworm. I think I might have liked him more in his earlier rendition in the mod. But then once we learned how the rules worked a bit more, we realized we couldn't word it the way we used to. So he is different, but he's still pretty cool.
Fartworm.
Because we used to make it so it's like you can't choose this or choose this for effects or something like that, and then we realized that attack rules are technically effects, so then we had to change it up.
So like, do you know how many mods are like referenced in Lost Cards Encore in total?
There's quite a few. I'd say, let me think. So, Fiend Folio Retribution, Genesis Plus, God Mode, a bunch of standalone mods like
The Red
Imaginary
Room,
Friends, Transformer, Able, Alpha Birth Pack 2, Alpha Birth Pack 3, Deliverance, Junior Fetus, Ritual, Atlas. The list goes on, I tell you.
it goes on. Oh man.
But that's quite a few mods. Fiend Folio, of course. Community Remix. That's like one of the first ones I was referencing. Yeah, just a bunch. Like probably over 15 mods, and like some of those mods are Goliaths. They're like
like Fiend Folio,
or 200 enemies, stuff like that.
So let's say you can make an official change to Four Souls. What would you change?
I'd probably make it so that at the start of each turn you have the choice between looting 1 and gaining like 3 to 4 cents. Because it would make it more interesting, in my opinion. It would increase the flow of items when you already have a good number of loot cards in your hand. So it's like getting a free play of a money card instead of looting, and I think that's pretty fun. I've even used that house rule. It's really interesting to me.
Yeah, that's interesting. I like that idea. I guess it's more unique than what I had. I was like, man, I'll just add more utility loot and add more stat upgrades in the treasure deck and call it a day. That was about it for me.
I'm sure you're gonna like Lost Cards Encore then, because we have a lot of items that help you win in combat situations, and also loot cards that are really strong.
I remember one of the recent teases you showed off, like the idea of monsters hiding in the loot deck. I really do like that a lot.
Oh yeah, and I didn't even really come up with that idea, but we what do you call it, polished the idea. A Fiend Folio developer had that idea, but then it applies to a lot of things. You can make that apply to like those down 4 enemies or any enemy that hides. I like it how it's a very versatile thing, and I'd hope that more mods, like Four Souls mods, would develop cards with that idea. Because you can make cards that are utility for the player. It's just like a hurdle to pass. You can make it so that you can gain more rewards, or you can fuck another player by playing it during their turn after they've attacked. I just like how versatile it is.
I like it too. It's pretty groovy. So, would you think to would you oppose this idea? Like, what if monsters and player cards had like higher stats and they're more unique and stuff? So like the highest stats would be 20, 20, 20, and you would roll with a D20, of course, and like, you know, just having it make it more easier to deter. I can't speak today. To distinguish between the weaker monsters and like the super stronger monsters and whatnot.
That's a cool idea, but it would require a lot of changes.
A lot of
to
changes.
the game in general. It'd be huge balance changes, and I think it'd be better because you'd be able to create more content than before, and you'd be able to balance things more specifically because there's more numbers, more variables you can use. So, like 2 damage is so strong, but that's just 2 damage.
Yeah.
In like that balance, 10 damage would be like 2 damage, right?
It would be like
So
that.
it would require an insane amount of changes to the game, but it's a very cool idea.
Well, that's good to know. How long have we been talking? For about an hour. Oh my goodness, that's time does fly by.
Yep.
Like, I remember it was like about a week, more than a week ago. I was like, okay, let's schedule this situation, and then like those days just flew by real fast.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really just fly.
I think that's all my questions. Yeah, I believe so.
I think we're all set.
I believe it's time to wrap this up. But this is a very groovy interview. Do you want to say anything to the people watching? I'm probably gonna. I am gonna plug in Lost Card's Steam page and your Twitter. But anything else? Do you want to say anything?
Check out Ark.
Ark.
And
yes.
Play with Four Souls Rebalanced. It's way better. And also go play Repentance. They deserve your money.
Repentance.
If you haven't bought that. And yeah, Lost Cards Encore is almost done. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Okay, everybody, take care. Hope you have a groovy day. We'll see. Well, I mean, I'll see you soon. Maybe I don't know. I'll say we see you, but I'm not sure if Bustin's gonna return. But I don't know. Anyways, take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.